Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CPAC First Vice Chairman Charlie Giroux.
Like so many of you, I am blessed, truly blessed, to be a citizen of the greatest nation in the history of the world, the United States of America. But unlike many, I'm a citizen by choice because I wasn't privileged to be born here. I was born in a slum in southern Brazil. My birth mother realized that she couldn't take care of me. And so she took me to a little mission and asked for me to be put up for adoption. She asked only one thing of those people there. She said she wanted her baby to come to America because she believed that if I came to this great land, perhaps I'd be able to learn how to read. And so today I know she's looking down with a smile at the fact that not only did I learn how to read, but that I have the great honor of introducing our next speaker. And you know, the media, when I told that story in public for the first time, I had some hotshot young reporter come running up to me demanding to know, why were you born in Brazil? So I had to think for a minute, and I said, well, I wanted to be close to my mother. Brazil, as you know, is a great nation, the giant of South America, bigger in land mass than the continental United States, with more than 215 million souls living there. And it's a beautiful country with rich and fertile soil, with incredible natural resources, with superb ports, with great climate, and with wonderful people. And yet it's not a world superpower because for generations it's been held back by two things: by socialism and corruption. And after decades of left-wing despotism, one man stood up and took on the leftists in Brazil. Jair Bolsonaro stood up and ran for president. And just 1 month before the election, the day before Brazilian Independence Day, a leftist activist stabbed him in the gut, ripping him open from his chest to his waist. And as he lay there between life and death, his son Flavio, his brother Eduardo is with us today and has spoken at CPAC so many times, told the people of Brazil, my father can no longer lead us, it's now up to us. And as a result, the people of Brazil took Jair Bolsonaro to a great victory with over 55% of the vote. And the people of Brazil won because in 4 short years, President Bolsonaro cut taxes on energy, put billions of dollars into education, created the lowest unemployment in a decade, this during the pandemic. And he brought millions of companies and new jobs to this country. And his wife, Michelle, the beautiful First Lady of Brazil, took poor children who would never have otherwise had the opportunity to the palace each weekend so that they could swim in the presidential pool. And finally, he relaxed Brazil's crazy laws on private ownership of guns, allowing more people in the private sector to have guns in their hands, and as a result, crime went dramatically down. But unfortunately, he couldn't control the Supreme Court of Brazil, which oversees their elections. And so he lost the closest election in Brazilian history and toppled one of the last dominoes in the Western Hemisphere, so that today, from Canada to Argentina, from Trudeau to Fernandez, and don't forget Joe Biden in the middle, we have socialist governments elected in so many cases by, shall we say, questionable elections. And as Jair Bolsonaro comes before us today, where is Lula da Silva? On his way to China and allowing Iranian warships into Brazilian harbors, which Senator Cruz told us the other day is a direct threat to the people and security of the United States of America. That's the difference between what has happened in Brazil historically and what's happening there today. But we know this: the fight goes on. and we know who ultimately wins. And so we thank God for Jair Bolsonaro. We ask you to pray for Brazil. And por favor, seja bem-vindo ao 38º presidente do Brasil, meu presidente, Jair Bolsonaro.
Boa tarde a todos.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Desculpe-me,
I'm sorry,
mas nessa terra eu me sinto no Brasil.
but in this land, I
A
feel
terra
like
dos
I'm in
bravos,
Brazil.
a terra da liberdade, do
Land of-
progresso e da ordem.
Land of freedom, progress, and order.
É o que muito político sempre fala, mas não cumpre.
It's what many politicians
Não é
usually
fácil
say,
ser político,
but don't
pelo
deliver.
menos para aqueles que querem honrar a sua palavra e quer fazer o bem ao próximo.
It is not easy to be a politician, especially when you want to honor your word, and help people.
Nesse momento, eu agradeço a Deus pela minha segunda vida.
In this moment, I thank God for my second life.
E também a Ele pela missão de ser presidente da República por um mandato.
And also for the mission of being the president of Brazil for one term.
Mas eu sinto, lá no fundo, que essa missão ainda não acabou.
But I feel deep inside that this mission is not over.
Como o apresentador agora há pouco falou que era brasileiro e veio para cá, e aqui fez a sua história,
As Charlie Gero just said that he's a Brazilian and he came here and here he made his story.
eu também venho de uma família pobre. Jamais esperava ser presidente do Brasil.
I also come from a poor family and I never expected to be president of Brazil.
Mas quando vi uma comunista ser reeleita no meu país, eu resolvi enfrentar esse desafio.
But when I witnessed a communist being re-elected in my country, I decided to face this challenge.
Tinha um passado de 15 anos de exército e 30 de parlamento.
In my past, I had served the army for 15 years and I was a congressman for 30 years.
E ao longo da campanha, me segurei numa passagem bíblica.
And during my campaign, I held myself through a Bible verse.
João 8:32.
John 8:32.
E conhecereis a verdade, e a verdade vos libertará.
You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
O Brasil é uma grande nação, muito rica,
Brazil is a great nation, very rich nation,
mas não se desenvolvia.
but it would not develop.
Populismo, comunismo e corrupção é o que sempre dominou a política brasileira.
Populism, communism, and corruption always dominated politics in Brazil.
Por 4 anos, numa pré-campanha, andei pelo meu grande país.
For 4 years during the pre-campaign, I walked through my great country,
Levando a verdade sem se preocupar com os votos.
taking the truth to people without worrying about votes,
Andando sozinho pelo Brasil.
walking through Brazil by myself.
Como há 2 anos antes das eleições, parei numa pequena cidade do Amazonas chamada Manacapuru.
2 years ago, I stopped in a city in the Amazon, in a small city called Paracapuru.
As pessoas me receberam num porto e com toda certeza, pensaram, o que esse cara sozinho está fazendo aqui? E eu também me perguntei, o que eu estou fazendo aqui?
People received me in the port and they all thought, what is he doing here by himself? And I also asked myself, what am I doing here by myself?
Quase ninguém acreditava que eu poderia ter sucesso.
No one believed that I could be successful.
Fomos crescendo, a esquerda viu que eu era um alvo difícil de ser abatido.
We started to grow and the left noticed that I was a difficult target to be defeated.
E um esquerdista, filiado a um partido de esquerda, PSOL, deu uma facada em mim em setembro de 2018.
And a leftist who was a member of a leftist party, the Socialist Party, stabbed me in September of 2018.
Com toda certeza, eu sou o ex mais amado do Brasil.
For sure, I am the former president who's most loved in Brazil.
Mesmo no leito de morte, mas com muita força e muita fé, ganhamos as eleições.
Even in my deathbed, but with much faith and much hope, we won the elections.
Montamos um grande ministério,
We put together a great cabinet
com pessoas capacitadas e patriotas.
with capable people who, above all, were patriots.
Ao longo de 4 anos, assim como todo mundo, enfrentamos a pandemia e um conflito entre Rússia e Ucrânia.
And through those 4 years, we faced the pandemic as the whole world and a conflict between Russia and Ukraine
Com reflexos econômicos para todos nós.
with economic consequences for all of us.
Fizemos a nossa parte e até o final do ano passado, os números da economia bem demonstram que o Brasil foi um expoente nessa batalha.
And we did our part, and the numbers of our economy show that we did a good job.
Sempre defendi a liberdade.
I always defended freedom.
Não obriguei a ninguém a tomar vacina no Brasil.
I did not force anyone to be vaccinated in Brazil.
Tem certos assuntos no Brasil que são proibidos de ser tratados.
There are certain themes in Brazil that cannot be spoken.
É a vacina.
One of them is the vaccine.
É o tempo todo, é ciência, é ciência, é ciência, é ciência.
They keep saying science, science, science.
E eu digo, é liberdade, liberdade, liberdade.
But what I say is freedom, freedom, freedom.
Com toda certeza, eu fui o político mais atacado pela grande mídia em nosso país.
Certainly, no one was more attacked by the big media than me.
Mas mesmo assim, eu nunca tomei uma medida contra a imprensa.
But even with all those attacks, I never took any measure against the press.
Eu entendo que uma imprensa, até errando, ela é melhor do que uma imprensa calada.
I believe that a press, even when they make mistakes, are better than a press that cannot speak.
Se olhar as imagens aqui, ao lado,
If you look at the screens, the images on the screens,
eu tive muito mais apoio em 2022 do que 2018.
you will notice that I had way more support in 2022 than I had in 2018.
Não sei por quê. Os números mostraram o contrário.
And I don't understand why the numbers reflected the opposite.
Nós não aceitamos e ir para o outro lado da esplanada.
We did not accept to go to the other side of our capital,
Onde a minha vida pessoal seria muito mais facilitada.
where my personal life would have been much easier.
Fiquei ao lado dos meus princípios, ao lado de Deus e do povo brasileiro.
I chose to stand next to my principles, next to God, and next to the Brazilian people.
A coerência é que marca as nossas vidas.
Coherency is what marks our life.
Não sou pastor e nem padre,
I'm not a priest nor a pastor.
apenas cristão.
I'm only a Christian.
E nós, muitas vezes, nos perguntamos,
And many times we ask ourselves,
da onde viemos, para onde vamos?
where did we come from and where are we going?
Nesse intervalo, há tempo onde ficará registrado o nosso currículo, o que fizemos aqui na Terra.
In this space, there's a time that will be registered in our resume. What have we done in this planet?
Do fundo do coração, como é gratificante ser recebido em qualquer lugar do Brasil e do mundo com esse calor.
And from deep in my heart, I must say how it's so gratifying to be received like this, anywhere in Brazil and anywhere in the world.
Costuma-se dizer que todo poder emana do povo.
I always say that every power comes from the people,
Mas o povo precisa de lideranças.
but the people need leaders.
Aqui eu vejo muitas.
Here I see many leaders,
E nós só podemos proporcionar felicidade ao nosso povo se nós formos leais a eles.
and we will only be able to provide for the happiness of our people if we are loyal to our people.
Quando se fala em conservadorismo,
When we speak of conservatism,
o que nós queremos e lutamos são coisas básicas.
what we fight for are basic things.
Família.
Family.
Não queremos ideologia de gênero.
We don't want gender ideology.
Queremos os filhos crescendo à semelhança do pai e as filhas da mãe.
We want children growing, looking up to their father, boys and girls looking up to their mothers.
No Brasil, a propriedade privada encontra-se ameaçada.
In Brazil, private property is threatened.
Ela, no meu entender, é dos pilares da democracia.
Private property is one of the pillars of democracy.
A vida, desde a sua concepção, foi a nossa defesa, sempre contra o aborto.
Life from its conception was always defended by us against abortion.
Também, no meu governo, liberei o máximo possível, nos limites da lei, a posse e o porte de arma de fogo.
And in my government, I relaxed as much as I could regulations on gun ownership.
Em 4 anos, diminuímos em 1/3 o número de mortes por arma de fogo no Brasil.
And in 4 years, we were able to reduce 1/3 the number of deaths by weapons in Brazil, by firearms in Brazil.
A primeira medida desse novo velho governo foi revogar os meus decretos.
And the first measure of this old new government was to take away these decrees.
Sempre disse no Brasil,
I always said in Brazil,
povo armado jamais será escravizado.
an armed people will never be enslaved.
E país armado jamais será subjugado.
And an armed nation will never be subjugated.
É indispensável falar aos senhores que o meu relacionamento com o presidente Donald Trump foi simplesmente excepcional.
And it's indispensable for me to tell all of you that my relationship with President Donald Trump was simply exceptional.
E nós podemos assistir quem está certo,
And now,
nós ou eles.
and now we know who is right. We are right or they are right.
Aqui, pelo que parece, a gente vê uma migração de pessoas do Estado democrata para o republicano.
We've been seeing apparently here in America a migration of people coming from the Democrat states to the Republican states.
Vão buscar melhores condições de vida.
They're looking for better life conditions.
No Brasil não é diferente.
In Brazil, it's not different.
Há uma migração da população de estados administrados pela esquerda em direção àqueles de centro-direita.
People are moving from those states that are run by the left to those who are run by the center and the right.
Mas a liberdade é algo que tem que ser tratado com absoluta preocupação.
But we must always be preoccupied with our liberties.
É como um grande amor.
It's just like a great love.
Você tem que cuidar dele todo dia para não perdê-lo.
You must take care of it every day not to lose it.
E nós assistimos,
And we have witnessed,
não apenas no Brasil, mas no mundo todo,
not only in Brazil but in the entire world,
a sanha para regulamentar as mídias sociais.
the excitement of the left to regulate social media.
Mais liberdade, no meu entender, é o controle para as mídias sociais.
The best way to control the social media is more freedom.
Fiz a minha campanha em 2018 com as mídias sociais.
I ran my campaign in 2018 through social media.
No total, gastei menos de $1 milhão.
In total, I spent less than $1 million.
Eu sei que é inacreditável,
It's unbelievable,
mas as imagens mostram aqui.
but you can see on the
Isso
screens what
aconteceu ao
we
longo
did.
de 4 anos no Brasil.
This happened throughout 4 years in Brazil.
Não só em datas festivas,
It was
como
not-
em qualquer outro momento que eu tenha aterrissado em qualquer ponto do nosso Brasil.
It wouldn't happen only on special dates or when I landed specifically in any point, in any place in Brazil.
No início, eu perguntava, né? Meu Deus, o que eu fiz para pagar um preço tão alto como esse de ser presidente da República?
In the beginning, I would ask God, what did I do to pay such a hefty price to be the president of Brazil?
Não tinha dia de descanso.
I had no rest days.
Depois, eu mudei
But later, I changed.
e comecei a falar, obrigado, meu Deus, por essa oportunidade.
And I started to tell God, thank you so much, God, for this opportunity.
Levei aos 4 cantos do Brasil.
I took to the 4 corners of Brazil.
E o povo brasileiro, que mal conhecia as cores da sua bandeira, passou a amá-la.
And the Brazilian people who had forgotten the colors of its flag began to love it.
O povo começou a entender de política.
People started to understand more about politics,
Passou a conhecer o parlamento brasileiro.
started to know better the Brazilian Congress.
Nome de deputados e senadores passou a fazer parte do seu dia a dia e não mais apenas jogadores de futebol.
And the name of congressmen and senators became part of Brazilians' daily life, not just soccer players.
Eu tenho certeza que nós plantamos muitas sementes no Brasil.
I am certain that we planted many seeds in Brazil.
Elegemos pessoas que eram desconhecidas da grande população,
We elected many people who were unknown by
mas
the
com um
population,
enorme potencial.
but with a great potential.
Como alguns que me acompanham aqui agora,
And many of them are here with me today.
outros que ficaram no Brasil, mas se elegeram deputados federais, senadores e governadores.
Others who were elected to the House, to governors, to senators.
Eu sempre disse a eles, o ideal é que o povo não nos procure.
I always tell them, the best case scenario is if the people does not need us.
Porque assim é sinal que eles estão bem.
Because that's a signal that they are doing well.
O tempo está se acabando. Teria muita coisa a falar, mas nós devemos respeitar o tempo.
Unfortunately, time is almost up. I have many things to say, but I must respect our time.
Dizer a todos vocês que eu sempre admirei o povo norte-americano.
I must tell all of you that I always admired the American people.
O Brasil é importante para o mundo.
Brazil is important for the world.
Hoje, mais de 1 bilhão de pessoas dependem de nós para a sua segurança alimentar.
Today, more than 1 billion people around the world depend on Brazil to be able to eat.
Temos riquezas minerais que ninguém tem no mundo.
We have mineral riches that few countries have in the world.
Só o Brasil tem nióbio.
Only Brazil has niobium.
Temos água potável em abundância.
We have an abundant amount of drinkable water.
Temos uma Amazônia que é nossa, dos brasileiros.
We have an Amazon that belongs to us, to Brazilians.
Convido-os a visitarem a Amazônia.
I invite all of you to visit the Amazon forest.
Vão conhecê-la
Please.
como ela é e não como a imprensa pinta.
Please come to visit as it really is and not like the press.
Somos um país de paz.
We are a peaceful country.
Se eu fosse presidente, não teríamos esse problema agora com os navios iranianos.
If I was president, you could rest assured that we would not have this problem with the Iranian vessels that are in Brazil refueling.
A todos vocês, eu quero agradecer esse momento. E assim como vocês, eu quero ter o prazer de daqui a pouco,
I would like to thank all of you, and just like you, I would like to have the pleasure in a few moments
assistir Donald Trump a fazer uso desse palco.
to be able to watch Donald Trump come on stage.
Eu fui o último presidente a reconhecer as eleições de há 2 anos aqui nos Estados Unidos.
I was the last president in the world to recognize the results of the elections in America 2 years ago.
Continuo fiel aos nossos princípios,
I continue to be loyal to our principles.
ao nosso lema,
I'm still faithful to our motto:
Deus, pátria, família e liberdade.
God, homeland, liberty. God, homeland, family, and liberty.
Muito obrigado a todos os senhores.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.